Hello and welcome to another week of the Beer Tier.
So in the Beer Tier, this is where we answer specific bespoke questions from our patrons in a video just like this.
We keep saying this every week. We'll change the name from the Beer Tier to something else at some point.
Yeah,
because we don't have a beer.
Yeah. we used to have a beer. But we've cleaned up our act.
Well, the thing is, the whole point of having the beer before was so that we're nice and relaxed, it's casual, it's like talking to a friend, but we can do that anyway without the beer, so yeah, we're fine. We don't need beer.
So this month's question is kindly from Joe, and Joe asked, how do you handle major life changes without wrecking the progress that you've made?
That's a pretty good question, Joe.
So Joe's obviously going through a lot of changes in his own life, and he's obviously trying to implement changes while still kind of keeping his progress going that he's made training wise, which can be a bit of a concern. You generally find this kind of thing if someone changes jobs, and their new job is either more strenuous or the hours aren't great, and then they start to panic that they either won't have time to train or get the proper nutrition in.
And also there could be medical issues, there could be relationship issues, there could be all sorts of different things that stop you living your normal life. We all create habits, we all create routines, and it's as soon as you come out of that routine that you can then start to come up against a few problems. So yeah, we kind of discussed this beforehand, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we thought, okay, what's the best way to answer this? And we've got our own way of doing it, and I think it answers this question quite well.
Yeah, so basically what we discussed is that Stephen used the sort of army references about drilling. Well, we would say drilling your fundamentals, but your army term was drilling the
routine. It's ultimately drilling. It's like a fail-safe. What's your go-to action? So when the shit hits the fan, if you are out on patrol, you're just walking along, you're chatting to your mates. Obviously you got a rifle and whatnot. If you get attacked, you have to have a go-to action, and if you have drilled something, it's in your subconscious. Now, it might not be the absolute ideal situation. Like in hindsight, if you look back on any sort of conflict, everybody, whether it be a physical conflict or a mental one, if somebody says something nasty to you, it's always in bed at night time. You think, I should have said that.
Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I should have said this. I should have said that. And ultimately, it doesn't happen because we can't think that fast. But if you've got your subconscious on board, your go-to action, if you've drilled something enough, you then just fall into that action. So in the army days, that is something called fire team fire maneuvers. So if you get attacked, there is no question what you do. Everyone drops to the ground, and you start doing fire team, which basically you split into two teams, and this team fires and this team moves. This team fires, this team moves. This team fires, this team moves, and you just creep towards the enemy until you can overtake them. But in everyday life, the same principles apply. You should have a fail-safe action that you fall into. It might not be your ideal, but
so I mean, ultimately, because we're sort of health, fitness, and mindset, there are some fundamentals that you can still fall back on your drills. So your hydration, that's a fundamental. So if you're stressed about big changes, think, what can I take control of fairly straightforward in an easy manner? Your hydration, just like, right, okay, if I get my hydration in, that's one box ticked. Another box might be meal prep, right? Okay, so depending if it's work or your lifestyle's changed, like, can I plan my meals quickly and easily to make sure I'm getting the nutrition sorted? Yes or no?
Ultimately ask the question, what actions can I take that makes other actions easier? Meal prep being a great example of that. If I just meal prep, it means I don't have to think about my lunches for the next week. So always think about, okay, what is the fail-safe? It's not going to be your ideal, but depending on how big the challenge is, the life challenge will dictate where you fall back to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we discussed like training as well. So if you're panicking, you don't have as much time to train. Well, how much time do you have to train? We've done that mindset. We've discussed at length as cheating the system. Fit in what you can. Give yourself permission to. If you've only got 10-15 minutes, fine. How many times in that week can you get a 10 to 15 minute workout in? And when you do, plan it out, get it done.
And also just the intensity of your training. You might think, well, I've got loads of time, but I've just no energy. There might be a medical issue, or you might be depressed. You might have anxiety. You might not have the energy for a session. Therefore, again, cheat the system. You say, well, I'm going to have a session regardless of how intense it is. I'm just going to go to the gym. I'll do 10 minutes of walking, and then I'm going to stretch. Okay, and give yourself permission to fall back into this routine. And I think the further you go with your optimal, so everyone should be pushing for the optimal and working really hard at progressing things, and the further that goes, then the further up your fail safes come. You know, those go-to actions, they just creep up a little bit more, so our fail safes might be a little bit ahead of you, or they might not.
So hopefully that answers your question, Joe. If you want to have your own question answered in a bespoke video just like this, go to patreon.com/the Kilted Coaches and pledge to the beer tier. Now, one of the things we want to add in, we want to celebrate all the beer tier members that we currently have, so they're going to be flying up the screen now. Granted, they don't always ask questions, but they do have the ability to do so month to month.
So thank you for being on the beer tier. If you want a question asked, then answered, then go to patreon.com.
Thank you, Joe, for this month's question.
Yep, and I hope those life challenges are not kicking you in the butt, and you should be kicking them in the butt.
This is actually the perfect weather for what we had planned.
You're looking massive. We're going to switch you off because you're getting wet.
Good training, tops off, looking pumped up. We're going to turn you off because you're getting wet.
The chat for today is we're going to turn you off because you're getting wet.